So good, wonderful, beautiful morning, audience. Today's video is a little bit different. Today we're doing some camera repair. So for those of you that have found this video because you are looking to fix your Canon G7X Mark II, because the Canon G7X Mark III focus is horrible, Jamie is going to show you how to do this.
Yeah, if you've watched the vacuum video or the drill video, 10 times easier.
Right, don't do those. Try this first.
Just watch.
No guarantee it'll work, and no guarantee you won't break your camera, but high hopes. High hopes. And the dogs are just going to sit here and watch. You have a pretty good audience here, huh? They're like, Dad, please fix the camera so we can still look beautiful.
Will do.
So, you guys know I bought the new Canon G7X Mark III, which isn't that camera. That's the Canon G7X Mark II, which is also the camera you guys are seeing through right now. I have two of them. But you guys know that there's like, on this one, I believe there's dust in the lens up here somewhere and like over here somewhere that you can only see in certain lighting. So since I have two of them, I gave Jamie permission to go ahead and take one apart.
Yeah, so I read on the internet, there were a couple methods to get the dust out. The easiest method looked like just stick this on the front of here and just kind of suck the dust out. But if you guys know anything about that, or if you've ever tried that, you'll notice that the dust, it moves around, but it still sticks to the lens. You have to physically wipe it off.
Like where the lens is in the camera, the vacuum cleaner doesn't really work because it can't get the dust out from underneath it.
Right. So there's other methods, and the other method was to drill a hole inside of this cavity here so that you can get inside in between the two lenses. Well,
that's scary.
Yeah. So aside from drilling a hole in a vacuum cleaner that didn't work, and or taking the whole thing apart, because some other people said you take it all apart, you get this mechanism out of there, and you can actually take it apart and get in there. And I'm like, okay, he broke his camera, and he warned a lot of people about taking the camera all the way apart like that you'll probably never put it back together, and you'll break something. So.
Hence why I said we have two, and I told Jamie, if you break it, I really don't care.
Yeah, so I'm sitting here, and I'm looking at the camera, and I'm like, I wonder, can I just pull off this front cover plate?
Check that out.
And it's just a very small little cover plate.
So anyway, you saw Jamie pull that off of there. And I guess most people don't even try that. How hard did you have to pull?
There's just a few small little pieces of double-sided sticky tape in there on a few little small points. So this little thin shroud came off really easy. As you can see, there's not much on the front of here that it's actually stuck to. I think there's a little bit of tape there and a little bit of tape here, and that just slid right out. There's nothing else that holds it on except a little bit of sticky tape. Or sticky, you can still see it's actually kind of, see?
Right, still
kind of sticky to my finger, you know?
Right.
So I pulled that off of there, and then on top of it was, I already took it off here, but on top of it was the shutter mechanism. So the shutter was open, and I did this all the while with the battery out.
Yeah,
so
we opened the camera and we took the battery out so it would stay open.
Yeah, so that this stays protruded out. And then I took the shutter piece, and I removed the shutter with the tweezers and this little tiny spring that holds the shutter mechanism to work. And then what happens is when this is in place, it's down here, and it won't spin right now because it thinks the camera's open.
Right.
But it spins, so.
Yeah, you don't have to put it in and make it spin. We know. I was gonna say because it's gonna want to go up and down.
But I need it to zoom out a little. There, to get that away from there. Okay. So now that that's away from there, this spins and it moves anyway. Oops, it wasn't in right. So anyway, I took that out, and there's two small little springs that hook on there.
Don't lose the springs, guys.
And it can only go in the one way. And this, if you're using the vacuum method, this is where all the dust is going to go in and out. Is right where that seats down in that hole. That's what gets pushed up and makes this turn. And when this turn, it puts pressure on them hinges and it opens and closes that shutter, that dust shroud. So after we've removed that, now we can see the lens right on top. The lens right on top has a small little dust cover covering all these little pins.
And it doesn't work, trust me.
Right. Well, it doesn't. It doesn't really stop the dust because there's a big giant hole right next to it.
Right.
So I couldn't get a Q-tip underneath of there to actually clean the lens. So
let me show you guys the hole in case you can't see it from where I'm at. That's the hole that all the dust is getting in through.
Yeah. And just through this small, I mean, it's got
right. It's got lots of flaws.
Right. Well, I mean, any camera is going to do that, but you're going to want to be able to maintain.
But you would think with a camera that you know has those issues, Canon wouldn't want to charge you $370 to fix it.
Well, that's this maybe this video is for Canon. Instead of charging people $300, just get some guys with the tweezers and some know-how and pull this off. So anyway, I took that little dust shroud off. I just leveraged my tweezers underneath of it and pried that right up. So now that's sticking to everything. Now I've got my shroud here and my other dress shroud, so I've got everything out. Now inside here is that top lens, and there's some small pieces of glue that they've put to prevent this from actually popping right out. Well, I took my tweezers and I pried at that glue, and I chipped away at that glue, and I chipped away at that glue, and I chipped away at the glue enough that I could put my tweezers underneath of that lens and lift the lens right out.
Check that out.
So now with the lens out, I can clearly see.
You can clean the sensors inside there.
I can clean everything in there. Now, if you're just dealing with dust and not fingerprints or little smudge marks, I would not suggest actually touching that, because then you're going to really have to make sure that it gets clean.
Right.
Because it really likes to smear. And you can turn it back on to get that up closer to there if you want, or zoom up and down.
Right.
To clean inside that cavity. And I just took a little dust cloth, and actually you can just go like this and just go.
A little bit of air duster.
Done.
That's so crazy.
And now when I put this lens back in after I clean it up real good, I'll just stick another.
I see a smudge on it on the side here.
Yeah, it's probably from where I touched it with my fingers, so I'll probably just stick it right back in there, and I'll touch it with just a little bit of glue. Just a little bit of super glue on probably just 3 of them pins, the same 3 that
right, because you don't want to get it on the glass.
Had glue on it before. Yup. And I might not. It might actually.
It might not really need it.
It might not need it, but I think it's going to need more than just the sticky ring to keep that lens in place. So once you've pulled that lens out, I think you're really going to have to reattach that back in there. But
That's so crazy.
But there you have it. Let's see. I'll tell you in a minute how long it takes me to put it back together, but it really only took me 4 minutes to take apart.
I'm excited to not have dust on my lens.
That's pretty cool to not have to destroy anything.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, I destroyed nothing.
You didn't have to drill it. You didn't have to do anything.
It'll be a little meticulous getting them springs hooked back onto them things, but
you'll figure it out.
Yeah, you can see right where the spring hooks. The spring hooks onto that one tab. Yeah. And then it hooks onto this, and it just sits right on top of that.
So cool.
And all 3 of them just stick together. They all hook together, so when they move, they fan out like that, and then when they move in, they just go up. So it just fans open.
So cool. Well, I'll let you put that back together.
All right, I'll try to figure that out.
Okay.
And clean all this dust off of all these pieces. Holy dusty.
So after some fun making sure you got the lens clean.
Yeah.
Try not to touch the lens, guys.
Well, the inside of the lens, you're gonna no doubt touch this outside, putting these shutters back into place. But after I fiddled the springs back in place, try not to lose any of the springs, everything just really hooked up really easy. And I just can't believe that this is the only thing that holds all that on.
Right.
So we're gonna put this back on, and I'm gonna clean the final lens, and we'll give it a try and see if we can see any dust.
Yay! We might have one working camera.
That's it, guys. It's on there.
That's so crazy.
That is crazy. Let's see. And off.
It worked exactly like it was supposed to.
I'd say that worked.
Nice job.
So now we gotta open it back up and clean my finger. Oh, it still has that sticky lens that...
It's always done that, so I don't know why that doesn't.
I forgot all about that, or else I might have looked into it.
Yeah, that one's had that a long time, so... Well, you can always take it back apart.
There must just be something in there that catches on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I might have to take it back.
It might be bent too, so.
That's what I was just thinking, is maybe one of them shutters are bent. I mean, it closes pretty good.
Yeah.
Just.
It's opened like that for forever.
Yeah, I remember that.
I don't care about that. I care about the dust.
Wait.
So there you have it, you guys. The cameras are now fixed. And Jamie actually fixed both of them. So he fixed both of my G7X Mark IIs. And the reason we decided to share this is, like he was saying, almost every video we watched showed either drilling out the camera or really dangerous ways of fixing it. And so far, this is one of the only ways we've seen that doesn't really damage the camera. You still have to be really careful if this is something you're going to do with your camera. And I know this wasn't really like a normal vlog. This was more for people looking how to fix their Canon G7X Mark IIs. As you guys know, I did purchase the Canon G7X Mark III, like I feel like a lot of other vloggers did as well. And as much as I love the camera, the focus on it sucks. And if I could have returned it, I actually would have, but Canon only gave me 14 days to return it, and it was day 15 when I reached out to them. And then they told me, oh, you can't return it, you're just gonna have to wait for the firmware update, which isn't coming until the end of October, possibly. And we don't even know if it's gonna fix it. So I have a $800 camera that I can't use. So I was really glad that Jamie was able to actually take these apart and fix them. Both of my G7X Mark IIs are very, very used cameras. I've had both of them for a very long time. They've been dropped, they've been through a lot of things. So I'm glad he was able to fix them. And so far, I vlogged with him a couple of days since we filmed that video, and I haven't noticed the dust. So I'm really, really happy and really excited. So if you know anybody that has one of these cameras and they're looking to fix it, send them this video. Back to normally scheduled vlogs tomorrow. This was kind of a DIY Jamie video. You guys always ask for those. This is kind of what this was. Alright, you guys, we hope you enjoyed today's video. As always, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Stay positive, dream big. We will see you again soon. Goodbye, audience. Good night, audience. Good whatever. Good night, audience.
If you love our Huskies, come along for the ride. All you have to do is hit subscribe. Follow as we share our lives with our dogs, and join our adventures on SnowDogsVlogs.